Good morning, students. Our today's topic in the subject of chemistry O levels is writing ionic equations. Concentrate, beta. Writing ionic equations. This is one of the very important topic as far as your subject chemistry is concerned in O levels, because from this topic question always comes into the paper. So concentrate yourself. We are going to start now. The procedure is similar to the writing an ordinary chemical equation. Ionic compounds, when dissolved in water, dissociate completely into ions. In water, strong acids and alkalis dissociate completely into ions. Spectator ions, that is, ions that do not take part in reaction, are omitted from both sides of the ionic equation. So spectator ions are those ions which do not take part in the chemical reaction. So while balancing the ionic equation, we will omit spectator ions on both sides of the equation. An ionic equation must be balanced in terms of the number of the atoms of each element and total charges carried by the equation. So now this is a table. These are actually spectator cations and anions. These are common spectator ions. So remember them, because remembering these cations and anions will help you a lot while balancing the ionic equation. Common spectator cations are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, strontium and barium. And common spectator anions are chloride, bromide, iodide, nitrate, perchlorate and sulfate ions. So remember these common ions. These are spectator ions. Okay, now we are going to read the steps of balancing the ionic equation. First step will be write the ionic equation of the, okay, here is an example that we are going to solve. Okay, first I'm going to tell you the number of the steps. This is actually a 7 steps procedure. First step will be write the word equation of the chemical reaction. Second step will be write the formulas of the word equation of the chemical reaction. Third step will be write the ions formed in the formulas. Fourth step will be omit the spectator ions. Fifth step will be balance the number of the atoms of each element on both sides of the equation. Sixth step will be balance the number of the charges on both sides of the equation. And final 7th step will be write the physical state of the chemical equation of the reactants and products in the chemical equation. So this is a 7-step procedure. So look now, these 7 steps are going to be explained with the help of an example. Write the ionic equation for the neutralization reaction between the sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. Sodium sulfate and water are formed. So sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid forms sodium sulfate and water. This is the first step. Second step is replace the names with the formulas. So sodium hydroxide is NaOH, sulfuric acid is H2SO4, so sodium sulfate is Na2SO4 and water is H2O. The next step will be write the formulas of the ions formed. So NaOH ions will be Na plus, OH negative, H2SO4, H plus and SO4 2 minus, Na2SO4, Na plus and SO4 2 minus, and H2O will remain as it is. Now we will omit the spectator ions. So this sodium and sulfate ions are spectator ions, so these will be omitted. So after omitting these, on left hand side we have OH negative plus H plus. And on the right side, these will be omitted because these are the spectator ions. So this will be left. The next step will be balance the number of the atoms of each element on both sides of the equation. So the number of the H and O are already balanced. Look in the equation. Here is one O on the right side, one O. There are two H on the left side. There are two H on the right side as well. Next step will be balance total charges on ions on both sides of the equation. So if you can see from the equation, there is one negative and one positive charge, so these will be balanced. So net result will be 0. And on the right hand side, net result is already 0. So number of the charges are also balanced. So look now, left side is -1 + 1 equal to 0, and right side is also 0. So charges are balanced. And the final step will be write the physical state. OH and H plus are aqueous, and H2O is a liquid. So these are 7 steps. So another example is here that will make your concepts more and more clear. Lead iodide is precipitated when potassium iodide solution is mixed with lead nitrate solution. Potassium nitrate is the other product. Okay, look now. Potassium iodide solution is mixed with lead nitrate. So look now. Lead nitrate plus potassium iodide forms lead iodide and potassium nitrate. So this is the word equation. Next step will be replace the names with the formula. Lead nitrate is PbNO3 twice. Potassium iodide is Ki. Lead iodide is PbI2. And potassium nitrate is KNO3. Next step will be write the formulas of the ions formed. So here will be Pb2 plus, NO3 minus, K plus, I minus. PbI2 will remain as it is, K plus, NO3 minus. Next step will be, because PbI2 is insoluble in the water and does not dissociate in water. Next step will be omit spectator ions. So K plus and NO3 minus are spectator ions. So these will be omitted on both sides. And after omitting them, Pb2 plus and I minus will be left on left hand side and PbI2 on right hand side. Next step will be balance the number of the atoms of each element on both sides of the equation. So here are actually 2I on the right hand side, so we will write 2 in front of I. So equation will be Pb2 plus 2I is equal to formed PbI2. So at this step, if you look, 1 Pb and 2I, so number of the atoms are balanced. Next step is to balance the number of the charges on the ions on both sides. On left hand side, you can see +2 -2 will be equal to 0. And on the right hand side, charge is 0. So charges are balanced. And the final step will be write the physical state. So Pb2 plus and I are in aqueous form and PbI2 is a solid. So this is the equation that is balanced. Here is another example. Chlorine react with aqueous potassium bromide to produce a brown solution of the bromine and potassium chloride. Write an ionic equation for this reaction. The first step will be write the word equation. So chlorine and potassium bromide. So chlorine plus potassium bromide forms bromine and potassium chloride. So this is the word equation. Next step will be write the formulas of the word equation. So chlorine is Cl2, potassium bromide is KBr, bromine is Br2, and potassium chloride is KCl. Next step will be write the formulas of the ions formed. So Cl2 will remain as it is. Here will be K plus and Br minus. Br2 will remain as it is. Here will be K plus and Cl minus, because Cl2 and Br2 are the molecules and do not dissociate into ions. So remember, the molecules will not dissociate into ions. Now the next step will be omit the spectator ions. So potassium is the spectator ions, so that will be omitted. After omitting potassium ion, on left hand side we will have Cl2 plus Br minus, and on right hand side we have Br2 and Cl minus. So at this step, the next step which we will do is balancing the number of the atoms of each element. So if you look on left hand side, there are 2 chlorine atoms. On right hand side, we have 1. So we will write 2 in front of Cl on the right side. And there are 2 Br atoms on right hand side and 1 on the left hand side. So we will write 2 in front of Br on the left hand side. So look now, 2 in front of Cl and 2 in front of Br on left and right side. So at this step, if you look, the number of the atoms of each element is balanced. The next step will be balance the total charges on ions on both sides of the equation. So if you can see on left hand side -2 negative charge is there, and on right hand side -2 negative charge is there. So number of the charges on the ions on both sides are also balanced. So the final stage will be write down the physical states. So chlorine is in aqueous form now. Bromine is also in aqueous form. This is also in the aqueous form, and this is also in aqueous form because these are dissolved in water at the moment. So this is the balanced equation. And other equation is here. So look now. Balance the following equation. Al plus Fe2 plus forms Al3 plus Fe. So the first 2 steps are already done. That is the word equation. So there is no need to write the word equation, students. And the next step was write the formulas of the word equation. And then next step will be was write the ions formed. So look at the equation. Third step, 3 steps are already done. So we will start from here now. Omit the spectator ions. So spectator ions are omitted. Okay. Next step will be balance the number of the atoms on the both sides. So look now, there is 1 Al on left hand side, there is 1 Al on right hand side as well. Okay, write 3 in front of the Fe. So here is 3. So actually number of atoms are balanced. So now we are going to balance the number of the charges on the ions on both sides, because there are 2 plus charge on the left hand side and 3 plus on the right hand side. So we will write 2 in front of aluminium ion and 3 in front of Fe ion on left hand side. So look now, 2 in front of aluminium ion on the right side and 3 in front of the iron ion on the left hand side. So at this step you can see the number of the charges on the ions on both sides are also balanced. So but because of this number of the atoms were imbalanced, so we will write 3 in front of Fe on the right side as well. So because there are each and every step is very important, because we have to balance the number of the atoms of each element and the number of the charges on the ions, both steps at the same time. So we have to write 3 in front of Fe on right hand side as well. So now at this step you can see the number of the atoms are balanced. So look now, 2 Al on left hand side and 2 Al on right hand side now. 3 Fe on left hand side and 3 Fe on right hand side as well. So number of atoms are balanced. And if you look at the charges, so this is 6 plus charge on left hand side and there is 6 plus charge on the right hand side. So number of atoms and number of charges are balanced on both sides now. So the final step will be write the physical state. Aluminium is solid, iron iron is aqueous form, aluminium ion is aqueous form, and iron is solid. So this was the final step. So this was the lecture of balancing the ionic equation, students. This is one of the very important topic in your subject, and this is a 7-step procedure. I repeat the steps, student. Concentrate. First step will be write the word equation of the reaction. Second step will be write the formulas of the reactants and products in your word equation. Third step will be write the ions formed in the equation. Fourth step will be omit the spectator ions. Fifth step will be balance the number of the atoms on the both sides. Sixth step will be balance the charges on the ions on both sides. And seventh step will be write the physical state of the reactants and products on both sides. So this is a 7-step procedure. So repeat this lecture very carefully, students. This is one of the important topic, and make your notes. Thank you so much.